Hello, welcome.
Hello.
This is episode 108 of the Anime on Draft podcast, and I am joined here today. I'm Rolando, joined by Drew,
Yep.
Alec, and Mark. I can't point in which directions you guys are in
Drew.
because I can't see that.
Drew is below me, and Mark is to my right.
I don't know where that is like in relationship to me.
Well,
We're all different. We all
where
have
are
different
you right
places.
now?
Somewhere.
So,
It's
There you go.
literally somewhere.
There you go.
Just
Yeah. There
point
you go.
in every
Just point
direction,
in directions.
and
But
you
your
got it.
camera is off to your right, so
yeah. So,
whatever.
Oh, well.
anyways, so this episode is kind of going to be a special tribute episode to KyoAni. So if you haven't heard the news, Kyoto Animation, there was a arson on the 17th our time, the 18th of July in Japan, and an arsonist attacked the Studio One, and unfortunately, around 34 people have passed on, and countless more are injured. And so I think we should take a moment of silence to remember the victims and their families. All right. So, with that said, why don't we kind of get to the nitty gritty and go over kind of the small details of the incident itself. So if you haven't been following what's been going on, we can kind of go over it. So
Bless you.
right now, let's see. Um, Let me see. Let's go with this Forbes article. So, um, actually, no, we'll go with the New York Times. So, at least 34 people have been killed at the studio in Kyoto. Um, basically, a. Should we talk about
No,
who?
I'd say
Yeah.
No.
let's
Let's
pass on that one.
not.
If you
He
want
was
more
apprehended.
information,
Yeah.
you can search, and find it on news articles. But I don't want to
Yeah.
spoil
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
it's a really good article in New York Times. They kind of talked about the studio, people who were affected, just about like a lot of their work, and especially the article is titled "Japan Fire Killed Mostly Women at a Studio Known for Hiring Them." Because yeah, I mean that was what they were really pushing for was like gender equality in animation.
And equal
Um,
equal working conditions for animators in
right,
general.
right.
Yeah, we talked about that a lot on the show. Like, it's come up like several times about like the working conditions for animators in general, and it's not very good.
No, not
Um,
really.
and one of the main things that I saw in a lot of the different articles and blog posts on like Reddit and things like that was that people were super bummed, not only obviously because of the loss of life and the tragedy itself, but just like this studio was setting the example, for gender equality and for like better working conditions, and then for
Mm-hmm.
them to kind of be affected in this way, everybody, it was just another blow. Um, so super, super depressing, super sad.
Yeah, absolutely. It's tragic. I mean, you know, like regardless of the studio that we all hold very dear to, because I mean we love a lot of the shows that they produced, but just overall the whole just incident is just
Mm-hmm.
insane to me. It's really
Yeah.
If it
crazy.
is related to their, pushing for equality and things like that, it's like one of those moments where somebody's doing something good and then they get, blasted for it. And it's like, well, at this point, what you're doing is right if people are backlashing so hard. But unfortunately, it had to be like this. But
It doesn't seem to be related to
no,
any of that.
mm,
Oh, okay.
you're just a
So
little frozen.
no, my computer just crashed.
Oh, we have your audio.
Yeah, that's because yeah, we're not gonna hear Drew or Mark. Remember last time this happened? Um,
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
Windows decided to crash.
All right, what I can
Um,
do is I can move the Skype call to the same source as the
um,
other one. Let me do that.
yeah, do that right now, and then I'll tell you when it's back up.
All right.
But I'm gonna keep talking.
Okay.
Um, so basically, the arsonist is claimed to have to scream, "You stole my novel," or like something like that, before he set the place ablaze. But let's not go too much into detail over like what happened, but let us remember kind of exactly what KyoAni has done for the, I guess, industry. So
Well, I guess while we're
they
kind of
have
fixing this,
focused on
one of the
different
things
quality
is,
of
or a couple of
photography
things that we're going to talk about, not only just like covering the
everything.
news event itself, but we wanted to talk a little bit about like some of our experiences with KyoAni. So like we're going to talk about the first show, first anime that we remember watching or intentionally
We have
watching.
two people talking right now.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I just found that Rolando can't hear you guys,
And we can't hear him.
and yeah, you can't hear him. So now that I can hear everyone, I will relay who was saying what. Um,
No,
when
let's not do it like that. Let's just
okay,
fix it.
yeah. Rolando, what were you saying? Yeah. What were you saying, Rolando? Yeah. Okay. Where? Let's see. How do you know how? If can you hear in Skype? Is that possible? Gotcha. Okay. I'm wondering. Can you guys hear us through stream?
It's gonna be delayed.
Yeah, it's gonna be delayed. That's kind of the only thing. Um,
Why don't you put it on the standby screen and we can figure this out?
yeah, we can do that. We'll pause for a second. We'll be back, guys. Give us just a few minutes to fix this technical difficulty. We'll be back. Okay, we
Hello.
should be back. Yep, we're good. We shouldn't have echo,
Can
but David will tell us.
Mark and Drew talk?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Check. Hello.
Then you should be able to go back.
Okay, yeah, we're good. We're back on Faces live on stream with sound. We're Gucci.
Woo!
Hi everyone. We're back.
We're back.
Hello
We
again.
back.
So where were
So
we?
I don't know where everyone was talking at the same time because I couldn't
Um,
hear them and they couldn't hear me.
I know you were talking about it not being related to their progressive options. I don't know what.
Yeah, I guess we'll just re-go with that. Apparently, so it's not related to them being progressive or anything. It was just uh, apparently the guy seems to have some sort of like mental illness, not like um, not particularly like he was like slow or anything, but like he seemed to have like some sort of like psychological issue, and he was claimed to have screamed, "You stole my novel" or something like that. At least that's what witnesses have said. Um, like we obviously can't really validate any of these claims or like the truth or falsehood of any of them, but um, rather than dwell on that, we should remember that KyoAni is a very progressive studio, and they are highlighting women in a field that's highly male dominant, and are working for equal pay for animators and all that
Mm.
stuff.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. I think that um, what we wanted to do different today is exactly like, rather than talk about, the attack and the fire, we wanted to kind of like highlight KyoAni. Because I mean, we have a lot of shows that we really enjoy. Some of them are like, all-time favorites. We have a couple shows that we've also talked about on our show that we really enjoyed, like Violet Evergarden. So I mean, I think
Yeah.
we just want to like, highlight the positives about, about the studio, and just kind of take some time to really appreciate, all the work that they've done.
The other thing I want to say is some of us on the show like to use,
Oh my!
KyoAni shows as the benchmark, if you will.
Benchmark.
The benchmark is
Yeah,
what you're
because it
what you're
could
really
be
the
the
benchmark.
next,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, the next Violet Evergarden. You never
The
know.
next Violet Evergarden.
Yeah, you never know. It could be the next Violet
Sorry,
Evergarden.
Big
I
oof.
wanted to lighten the
Oh.
mood a little, bring us to a
Yeah.
lighter point.
Of course.
Let's take this
Uh,
somber moment and now bring it to, I guess, a celebration of life, because I think more often than not, when there's a sad event, it's always good to bring back laughter and smiles to everything.
Let's focus on
Yeah,
the joy it
100%.
brought to us and then reflect it outward.
Yeah.
Man.
All right.
I'm
Well,
rubber your glue. Your joy can't stick to me, but I hope it does.
let's start with this first topic. Drew, I think you came up with this one. This was the first KyoAni show you have watched.
Yeah, we were kind of talking about it a little bit in terms of like, shows that we like intentionally watch versus like shows that we just like seen from them. Because I know there was like a couple, like for me, Clannad and Haruhi and things like that. I'd like seen a couple episodes. But like the first like real intentional show that we went and we watched like kind of the whole way through, I guess is what we're kind of thinking here. So I can lead it off. I was thinking about it because I couldn't remember like everything back then, so I opened up their wiki and we'll actually talk about that a little bit later. And it was actually Lucky Star. That was the first one that I intentionally went and
Lucky
watched.
Star.
So kind of like that quintessential slice of life sort of show. And it was when I was getting back into anime in college. One of my friends, good friends, recommended this to me, and it wasn't really a show that I was used to watching because I didn't really watch the slice of life shows. Then I was into like I don't know, like Naruto and Bleach and shows like that. And he's like, "Hey, this is like this really different show. Why don't you check it out?" And I really liked it. I mean, it was definitely way different from what I was used to, and I wouldn't say by any means it's my favorite show, but it holds. There's a motorcycle. It's very loud, but it holds like a special place in my heart as like probably one of the first like slice of life shows that I like intentionally watched. So yeah, that's what I remember about it.
I don't think I ever finished Lucky Star, because it's probably like years ago that I had ever like watched it. But yeah, I don't know if I ever finished it. Maybe I should probably do that.
Yeah, you should. Um,
I haven't finished Lucky Star. I started watching it. I didn't finish it a while ago. That was back when I started watching a ton of shows. I was like, I'll watch this later. I want to go watch something like actiony or something. And I probably started watching Madoka Magica or something. And I was like, oh yeah. And then I just never went back to it. Oh,
I lost you there for a
Oh.
second. I think source shit.
I think it might have, yeah, because everybody
Yeah.
just rejoined. but
Um,
Stream heard me, so there's that.
what did you say again? Just remind the rest of us.
I was just saying I didn't finish Lucky Star. I think it was at the time when I was watching a lot of other shows, and I went to go watch something kind of actiony, and I probably ended up watching Madoka Magica, and was just like, oh yeah, this is cool, and then forgot to go back to it.
All right. Well, now that we're on the topic of it, Alec, what was your first KyoAni show?
I think it was Nichijou, and once again, I think it was something that was recommended to me I think this was post boat, and I was just watching a lot of anime. I think you actually recommended it to me, Rolando, because it was a comedy, and
Yeah,
and so I was
it
Yeah.
is.
it was good.
Has there been like it? Well, yeah, there's been a couple shows that have been kind of like it. I think recently like Pop Team Epic is what pops out to me for that
Yeah.
same style of weird comedy or like super over the top comedy. But I think this was like the first one, especially when I saw it for the first time. It was just like, this is random, but it is so
It is.
funny.
It is really funny.
Super good.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
It is
Super
really
funny.
funny.
So that's my first
It's
one.
it's one of my favorites,
Mhm.
honestly.
It was a
Absolutely.
really good show. I enjoyed it. It made me want to watch more comedy shows, because I think because of that one I ended up later watching what's that one about the girls in the tea club?
K-On!
Okay, yeah. I watched
And that they weren't
yeah.
in it. They weren't in a tea club. They
What
were.
was it? They were in a
They
room that
were.
was supposed
They
to
were.
be
They
for a tea
were.
club.
They
or
were
something,
in
right?
the light music club, but they drank
Yeah.
tea every day.
Okay.
But they
that's
just
what it
drank
was.
tea.
Yeah. So I'm just mushing everything together. That one
Yeah,
was
yeah,
good
I
too.
thought you were thinking of Asobi Asobase. That was like another. That's like a recent one. That's like very kind of short, super random.
That
I
is
thought it was funny.
actually
It had
that
its-
that is like super Nichijou like.
Yeah. It's just like kind of over the top comedy that isn't like unrealistic, because like some of the Nichijou stuff is just so fucking random.
I
It
always
just really goes
remember
out there.
the scene where they're like in the huge blimp and all that stuff going down, and then the piece of wood falls and it falls into Yuko's hair. It's her hairpin or whatever, her
Yeah.
scrunchie thing. Oh man.
What the other show, the one where the blonde girl dresses up as the tomato. She's always wearing a onesie. There's the four girls.
Are you talking about Yuri?
Yeah, that one too.
Mm. I don't think I've ever watched that.
Because it's just random.
Yeah. Drew doesn't like that show.
I don't
That
like
show's just
show.
random, and I find it hilarious. But anyways.
Moving on, Mark. What about you? What was your first KyoAni?
First KyoAni show I think was probably Clanad. That's just the one that like sticks out to me as one of the biggest ones. Like when I started getting back into anime, I was with a friend, like a close friend, who was basically just introducing me to like all these shows, and we would just binge watch shows for like days. And just this was one of them. Like Clanad was one of those shows that we watched together and also like cried together.
I'm not
And
crying. You're
We
crying.
watched the after story. Yeah, so it
And
was
then you
like,
guys start
know,
punching each other, right? Yeah.
yeah, yep. It was like, all right, you want to go hit stuff now?
I'm gonna go jump in dirt,
go lift
shovel
weights.
things,
Yeah,
lift heavy
yeah.
stuff, and throw things.
Well, he was doing jujitsu, so it was like, let's go, just kind of burn off our emotions.
Let's go cuddle with each other aggressively.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it went that far.
They didn't go
Yeah.
like that, not quite. But yeah, Clanad
Jujitsu.
was one of the like, that was a big one that I like really stuck with me for a while. I liked it.
Yeah, Clonad that's good. We can talk about it later when we go through like the KyoAni's repertoire of shows.
Yeah.
For me,
I don't think I've seen it.
the first series that I saw from KyoAni was actually Full Metal Panic Fumofu.
Oh.
So that was the technical second season of the show. It was the slice of life comedy spin-off. It was funny, but there was just like really just random comedy, honestly. And I think after that was Clanad, and yes, that was that one's a tearjerker, that show.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that's the crazy thing is that when I brought it up to you, you were like, dude, that was 11 years ago.
Yeah,
That when that came out, that's crazy. It's a pretty long time ago.
it is.
And yeah, for it to be such a
Mm.
good show, it's
Still,
amazing. Still,
still
yeah,
a
That
good
still
show.
is a great show.
that show, like when I was getting back into anime, I watched it, and that's what like sparked my VN interest, and so it led me to read Katawa Shoujo. So if anybody has read
Oh,
that,
yeah.
but both of those have kind of shaped a lot of my anime preferences and visual novel preferences, if you can kind of say that. But both excellent, highly recommend,
Hmm.
definitely.
I'm. I think Katawa Shoujo is the only visual. No, I read that, and there was like another one that I can't remember. But like, I don't really read visual novels. But I do remember Katawa Shoujo as like having like a similar type of um, focus on like emotional and
Hmm.
stuff
And things.
Definitely.
and things of such.
Like
One,
it
one
and
of the
such
good
as.
thing one of the good things to come out of 4chan.
Oh yeah, I forgot that was a 4chan
Yeah.
visual novel.
Four Leaf Studios, yeah.
Four Leaf Studios. Yep.
Um, so moving on, what was your favorite KyoAni show? And we'll start with you again, Drew.
So I think all of us kind of went back and forth on a few of these, and for some reason this one just always jumps out at me, and not because it's necessarily their best show, but just because of how entertaining it was for me, and that is Amagi Brilliant Park.
Mm.
Super super random, like dude trying to save an amusement park with like these random characters from who you would think are just workers at an amusement park, but they're actually from like a different world. Um, and it's just like the
Spoilers.
comment, the yeah, well, spoiler. It's been out for a little while, so
Yeah.
It looks like a
but
2014.
there's some interesting things that go along with the show. Part of it is the wordplay. I think all of the characters' names are like references to things. So like Sento, she's one of the main characters. Her name is like 50 Cent. They're like all like references to like different pop culture icons. I don't know all of them off the top of my head. There's a good Reddit post about it that I found really interesting. But yeah, just super great show. Like super excellently animated. The character design I think is really good, especially since they're like kind of making fun of like Disney mascots and like some things along those lines. I think it's pretty fun.
Mhm.
The comedy's on point. The story isn't the best, but it's like they basically have a countdown to make enough money to save the park from a business like overtaking it, and you feel that drama a little bit every week, but it's not like overwhelming. And then you feel for the different characters. Like there's a princess character who you feel bad for. You want Sento to feel or like to
Feel anything?
feel anything. Yeah, that's a good way to put
Yeah.
it. But she's still so good though. Like the
She
situations
is.
they put her in. Like there's the pirate episode where she's dressed up, and it's just like absolutely ridiculous. So just like the situations that they get in. I think like one of the characters is like in a metal band. It's just like all these metal fans come to the park to see him. They're like rocking out. It's just so over the top and ridiculous. But super super fun. So if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. For me, it was between that and another show that I think a couple other people are gonna mention. So I'll let it go until it comes to that.
Let
So
it go. Let it
Yeah.
go.
Amagi Brilliant Park was actually like now that you talk about Sento, um, that was like one of the like a good example of how KyoAni is really good at showing emotion through visuals because
Mhm.
like there's the episode where she's like trying to talk to Kamiya and be like um uh she wasn't sure about her feelings for him. It was like
mhm.
but like you could see it just through like her body language. And that's like
she's like
something
she's like super fidgety. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's like the KyoAni special right there. Just like you've got the shaft
Hmm.
head tilt,
Yeah.
and the KyoAni is like really good with like just visual body language.
No.
And really
And the,
subtle things
So
too.
if they made an
They
isekai, they
have a
wouldn't
lot.
over just explain everything. Is what you're saying?
No, there would be no dialogue. It was just all body
It'd
language.
be the entire time just body language. Wow, that's impressive.
It's pretty
an,
impressive, right? Yeah.
Another thing that they did really well on this season too, and I'll kind of leave it at that, is we talk in Violet Evergarden about showing emotion, obviously, and the eyes are like where we're always drawn to, and same thing in Amagi Brilliant Park. Is you can see the emotion, not only like the fidgety body moves, but it's like the eyes, like regardless of like how they're speaking this and the situation that they're in, it's like you can really like feel it. Um, so
Yep. Good
yeah,
good selection.
yeah.
Um,
It's a good one.
Alec, what about
I
you?
think that was a show that you recommended to me, Rolando, like a couple years ago. And
Maybe.
like when you told me about it, you're like, you've never seen Amagi Brilliant Park, you need to watch that right now. And then I binged it. I was like, oh, that was good.
Nice.
My show, the one I picked was Sound! Euphonium. I picked this one. It's just, I really enjoy it. I think it's really fun to watch. The visuals are really nice. And when I was thinking about what my favorite show would be, I was thinking between, this and a couple others. And I was just thinking, this is the only show that I purposely waited in a line for an hour and a half for. And I probably wouldn't have done that for one of the others. So I think this is probably my favorite out of the group. And I just really
You did that
enjoyed it.
recently.
Yes, I did that recently. I waited for that movie at Anime Expo, and it was hot, and I was in the sun because I didn't make it there in time to be in the shady part, and I still waited. So,
I'm glad you got in.
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But really good show. I really enjoy it, and I like it doesn't feel super, even though it's based on high school like drama. It doesn't feel super high school and kiddie. It feels like something you could really relate to, like the main character trumpeter girl, who she's really sad because she lost that competition. Even now as an adult, if I put my whole heart into something and I lost, I would still feel really upset, and like it would kind of tear you up. So it's like really relatable things no matter your age, and the things that they're going through in high school are really relatable as well. So it's a good
Right.
show.
That show like gets you invested in the characters really well. Like you're really, really rooting for those characters.
You're
Not
like,
just
"Come
because it's
on."
like, you just want them to succeed and do
Yeah.
well because they
It's
show
like
just
a
how
good
hard they're
sports
trying.
anime. It's like the running. It's like the
Music, yeah.
running show, but with music.
Remember the one? Yeah.
It does help a little
Yeah,
that
it
I
is.
was in band in high school, so there's that. Maybe it's
Right.
like an added bonus of like how much I can connect to it, but I think anybody can connect to the show and like their struggles and the things they go through. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool.
Good
cool.
choice. Yeah.
Let's see. Mark, what about you?
So this was kind of a tough one too. I was kind of torn between two shows. You know my feelings about Violet Evergarden.
maybe
I
just
really love that show.
yeah, you do.
Wait, does
I
Mark
really
like
loved
that
it.
show?
I absolutely hate it.
Is that the
Disgusting. Don't ever watch
standard?
it.
Is that
Bad.
Mark's standard?
It's, it's a good show. It's a beautiful show.
It's a
That's why
beautiful
I enjoy it.
Especially
It's
that lake
really,
scene.
Yeah, that's probably like my favorite scene in anime. It's so great. But the one I have to choose as like my favorite from Kyo Annie is Hyoka. That was
Yeah.
another one that Rolando recommended to me, and then like I just completely binged that. It was such a good show. The characters are likable. I like the main character. I know Drew doesn't.
And I was gonna say too. That's
Sorry
the
to call
only
you out.
reason I didn't pick it over Amagi Brilliant Park, because I like every character in Amagi, and it's not that I don't like the main character. It's just like his character is kind of a drag. Like he's a little depressing, and
He's like
while
a
the other
serious-
characters are so
yeah.
uplifting, he's just kind of like. He's very basic, very boring, I would say. I get basic's not a good word because like, he's really helping people with their problems. But like his base character and the idea that he's based on is kind of boring to me. But that's the only gripe I have with the show. Other than that, it's beautiful. I love that show.
I think
That was my
a-
second choice.
a lot of people that do gripe on that show do say the main character was the issue. I think that's also an issue that people have with the actual adaptation, is how he is in the actual novels compared to the anime. But as Mark has said, that's his favorite, and that's actually what I selected as well. Although very close second is Clannad After Story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
But you just don't like having your emotions
No,
so much.
no, no.
Yeah. It's
Not at
good,
all.
but it's like once in a while sort of thing, or once a year, once every 5 years.
Well, I actually haven't watched Clannad After Story since it first came out.
Mm,
Same. Yeah.
So I actually think I would like to watch it again.
Mm.
I
yeah, I
would love
don't
to
think
watch
I've
it
seen
again.
Yeah.
I think that's a good
Clannad,
one to
so
revisit.
um, I would have to watch
I mean,
Clannad, but I would do that. It sounds
probably
Well,
good.
then.
might looks like it's gonna be a suggestion for
Might
our
be a
or a
good.
Shuri
So,
segment.
Is there a lot to talk
yeah.
about?
Uh,
It's a good
probably.
show.
Maybe
There
we
is
should
a
just
lot to talk
decide
about.
right now.
I don't know if we should decide right
No.
now, but
No.
because we still have to look at
Make a
what we're
choice.
watching with the current season, see if we have time to do
Yeah.
this. But we'll see.
That's a powerful show. That's a lot of
Absolutely.
emotion. You know.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm probably gonna
Definitely-
watch it
the heartstrings.
anyways, so I'll take
Definitely
another
a lot.
current season show and watch that instead.
It's weird. Have there been really any other like? I know there's been like similar things, but like Hyoka kind of like stands almost in like a category of its own, just because it's like mystery. There's like a little bit of romance, school
Funny.
slice of life,
Yeah.
love drama. There's humor in it. Yeah, it's got like a little bit of everything in that kind
Mystery,
of slice
slice
of
of
life, high
life.
school romance, harem drama. Not really harem, but it's unique, and I think that's why I like it. And on top of
Yeah.
that, the music, the visuals, like super good. The one, and I'll say before we move on to the next thing, the one super memorable scene that I remember from, for some reason, it always jumps out of my head, is when they're trying to make money at like the Halloween fair or something, and like these two kids in like costume ready to go tricko trito, and they're like super like weird, and they like grab his shit and they like run out. It's like so random.
Yeah.
But for some
That
reason,
arc
that
is
always
like
stands up to me.
that arc is the best to me. I love it
Mhm,
because it's like
definitely.
I always kind of think about like Legend of Zelda, like one of those quests where you have to like trade something
Yeah.
with somebody else, and then take that and trade it with somebody else. It was
Majora's
very much
Mask.
like that. So it's like, yeah, it's just one of those quests arcs.
Mhm.
I don't know. That's why I love it. It's great.
If it were
Yep.
current,
show.
would it be
Yep.
the next Violet Evergarden?
Yeah, actually, it would because
It overtook
It's
it
a-
overtook Violet
it
for
'cause
him.
we
Yeah.
all chose those
It was,
instead.
It
so.
did.
it would have been a KyoAni show based off of a light novel.
And it's not to say that Violet Evergarden isn't good. I think we all really really like Violet
Yeah.
Evergarden, but it just kind of shows you the like depth of their just category of
Their
or their
repertoire.
Yeah.
repertoire. That's a word I'm looking for. Yeah, it's vast and it's
Yeah.
great, and I think that's what we're gonna talk about in the next segment. But I'll let Rolando transition us.
All right. Let me see real quick what David has typed in chat. He says,
Something.
Torito. I think he's trying to say trick or treat. David, you want to say Toriku or Torito?
There
I'm
you
just
go.
gonna correct you right there.
He gave it a shot.
He
gave
he
it a
did
shot.
give it a
his
shot.
best.
Yeah.
He's trying his best.
He's learning. He's
Um,
learning.
He's learning.
He knows more than I do.
No, you're fluent. Remember?
Oh yeah, that's right. I
Yeah, Alec
forgot,
is
sorry.
fluent in Japanese.
Sometimes I
if you guys didn't
forget.
know.
Oh, I can understand that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a good one.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sometimes I forget.
Uh, let's move on. So we're kind of just gonna go over said repertoire of KyoAni and just go through this list of all of the works that they've done, and then
Oh.
kind of point out whether you've seen it, what you thought about it, and so the list starts. We're just going off of the Wikipedia list. I know that might not be the best list to go through.
But it's
Is it like
available.
in release date order, or is it? Oh, well, there you go. Thank you.
Release date
it's release date
order.
order.
Thank you.
And if not, you can do that.
So right now we've got the first TV series is Full Metal Panic Fumofu, the first KyoAni show that I saw. So have any of you guys seen this at all?
Not
I
one
was
that I've seen. No.
13.
I don't know if I've seen this. I want to say I have. I want to say I've seen this, but it's probably a really long time ago. I don't really remember it. But like seeing some of these images of the show is like bringing back some memories, so I think I might have seen it.
Okay, because it's uh it's obviously in the Full Metal Panic series, and
Mhm.
like if you haven't seen like the first Full Metal Panic series or the second raid, um, then I would understand if you haven't seen this because this was kind of like a slice of life comedy spin-off. But it was funny. I thought it was a very entertaining show, and yeah. Um, and it also had a rockin' opening song,
Jamming.
jammin',
Hey,
and then
Germans.
yeah,
Uh,
I used to play that song on Stepmania all the time in high school.
German. Bob Marley.
Nice.
Um,
Jamin, man.
Jamming.
if
You
you
jamming?
I need to listen to this then.
if you're not familiar with it, it's a Sorega um,
Oh,
Aida show,
oops.
or
I just
that's
chest
love.
bumped my microphone. Sorry.
It's okay.
Next on this list is Air. Has anyone seen this?
Nope.
I have not. It was recommended to me once, but I did not watch it.
Um,
Yeah, Air and Air and Summer look like they're adaptations of a visual novel with sort of like a Clannad style.
yeah, it is another Key visual novel. Key has done a lot of interesting works like Clannad and Angel Beats and all of that.
Hmm.
So I haven't seen this. I believe just looking at the art for it, I may have seen the first episode, but not much more than that. And then definitely not Aaron Summer because that's clearly a
Sequel.
continuation. Um, Full Metal Panic: The Second Raid. Obviously, yeah, I don't think you guys have seen this if you're not
I've not
if you
seen that.
weren't into
Um,
Full Metal Panic back in the day. Um, that was the actual second season for the series. Um,
so did like the first studio who did like the first season, they just fell out of existence, or
yes.
Kyoto Animations picked it up,
Um,
or?
they didn't fall into it out of existence when KyoAni picked up the series, but Studio Gonzo did the first season of Full Metal Panic, and they eventually went out of business. And Studio Gokumi came out of them because they were like Studio Gonzo's fifth studio.
Mm,
Um, and I think Gonzo is back technically, but like I don't know what they're doing.
yeah. Cool.
Um, yeah, that was an okay series. I don't really remember too much of it because it was so long ago, and that showed when I was watching the Full Metal Panic Infinite Victory, the fourth season technically, and I was like, I don't really get what's going on. Um, it's just that's what happens when there's like 14 years in between seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
Um,
don't rewatch the
so
first
14
one.
years. Jeez, that's a long time.
yeah. The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. So
Yeah.
this is probably going to be a polarizing pick because you either loved the show or you don't like it.
Or haven't seen it.
Um, okay, you haven't seen it. Who here has seen it? Just a show of hands. Okay, so who here loves this series?
No one. Oh
No,
man.
no one loves this series. It okay, so it is
I
pretty sad to
didn't
say.
hate it. Well,
Like I
let's
didn't
say I didn't.
I don't hate it,
Yeah.
but I did hate the Endless Eight arc, and that's probably the most polarizing arc of this series because if you don't know what Endless Eight is, basically they just have a Groundhog Day for 8 episodes, 8 episodes straight, and this was the second season of the series. Technically, a continuation of the first is how they're
Yeah.
saying it, but like they
Mhm.
re-aired the first season, which had already aired in a different order than chronological, because the setting behind this story is weird, because the main character is like the god of the world they're in. Like she has like powers over like their reality, and
Mhm.
Endless Eight was when she kept Groundhog Daying everybody because she didn't want summer to end, and like there's related to the main character, um, and how his actions play into it. I stopped watching Endless Eight after the fourth time.
I don't think I got through it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I stopped. I had to stop. I'm just like,
Yep.
stop. No.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, please.
I
make
didn't
it
like the
stop.
show all that much to begin with, and then they did that, and the reason I was watching it because one of my friend's wives is like super into it, just like loves it, and she's
Yeah.
like trying to justify it to me, and I'm like there's nothing to justify here. It was just a disaster for me, but it's interesting because I think like the character design is interesting and like it's super popular, like especially like the opening dance. I think it's the opening, right? Where they do the dance and like
It's the
you see
ending.
people on, or is
The
it the
ending, I
ending?
think, yeah.
Yeah, you see people emulating that on the internet and stuff. So it's like it's definitely a super popular show, but like Rolando said, it is totally, you are one way or the other for the most part.
That was a big meme back in the day, the
It
Haru
was.
Yukai dance.
Yeah, yeah, and I correct me if I'm wrong. It's like someone inspired Chica dance from
Chaiki.
Kaguya. It's like a
It's similar,
similar
yeah.
sort of
Similar
meme
vir-
ability.
virality, is that a word?
That's a better way to put it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this. I guess we shouldn't really talk about Endless Eight being at this part because it's technically later, right? Um,
Yeah, it's season 2,
Mhm.
but still,
or
I
was
mean,
the or was season two? No, it just says season two is the
rebroadcast
rebroadcast
with
with
new
new episodes.
episodes.
So that was no, that was Endless Eight then, because
Yeah.
that's when they did it. They rebroadcast this show. Um, we'll just lump it together. I was not a fan of Endless Eight. I did enjoy the first season, but then it just ruined it after. Like I didn't watch any of the movies or anything after it. I was just left with that bad taste in my mouth. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm just assuming it's the same for you guys because Mark, you didn't watch Endless Eight, and then Drew, you just no,
Yeah.
Noped it.
Yep.
and Alec
No,
hasn't seen it.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Should I see
It's
it?
okay.
Is it worth my
I mean,
time?
you can.
Or should
Yeah,
I
it's
watch
interesting,
Clannad?
but
It's interesting, yeah.
Oh, you should
I would
watch
wa-
I would
Clannad.
watch Clannad.
Okay, there
Yeah.
we go.
Yes.
That's what I'm gonna
Yeah.
do.
Especially because you
Resounding-
liked Angel Beats so much.
I liked Angel
Same.
Beats
Mhm.
a lot.
It's a based off of a visual novel by the same studio. Um, so next on the list we have Canon
Another.
2006, not the remake that was done in like 2012 or something like that. Or was it? No. This one's the remake. So originally Toei Animation did a Canon series in 2002, and then this one was a remake. Wow, 4 years later, that's pretty interesting. Another
Yeah.
key visual novel. I haven't seen this. Have you guys seen this?
I have
No.
not seen this. No.
All right then.
I think it's supposed to be pretty good. I'm not sure. So I would be interested in seeing it. Although, if you are not a fan of that art style,
I
with
think
the
that's probably
huge
why I
eyes,
haven't seen it.
It has
then
an
you might not be.
8.0 on my anime list.
It's pretty promising.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm not gonna say
Out
that.
of
The biggest barrier-
107,000 users.
These fucking motorcycles. The biggest barrier I would say to most of like the key visual novel animes or the adaptations of them is the animation style, because it's like those eyes, they're a little wonky. Like you just gotta look past that. And that was like the biggest barrier to me watching Clannad for the first time. Was like the art. It's just like, ugh. But I definitely agree. I went into it being like, everyone tells me it's good. Just gotta get over the art, and it's worth it to do it, I would say.
it is.
100%.
Maybe we can, revisit Canon in the future, since it seems to be highly touted. But let's move on. So Lucky Star. I know we talked about this a bit earlier, but I definitely enjoyed this show. It's kind of like one of the quintessential slice of life, as Drew put it earlier. Like anytime I think of slice of life, and then like someone's asking about slice of life, this is one of the first shows that pops into my head.
Absolutely.
You guys,
I
who's seen
don't think I've
I've
ever
seen some of
finished
it.
it.
But I didn't finish it yet.
Yeah. I probably saw like bits and pieces of it, but I don't think I ever watched it in its
I think I saw
entirety.
like the first 4 episodes or 3 episodes or something. and then I started watching a different show, because during the binge time, the binge,
The binge times.
the binge times.
Yeah, let it forever be known as the binge
binge
times.
Well, that's the
I
time
decree
when
them the binge times.
That's the time when I finished like 5 animes in 3 weeks or something. So
Ooh.
What
Yeah.
phase of the
Yeah.
anime viewer is that in Guguk's terms? It's like, is he still in his infancy or
is that
something
the
like that?
infancy? Yeah.
Yeah,
You're just taking in all suggestions.
Just taking in
Yeah.
everything.
just watching
forming.
everything.
I have no preconceived
Preconceived
notions
notions.
of anything.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you say it's good, all right, I'll check it out. I hated
All
it.
right, I'm
What's
on
the
it.
next
I'm
one?
on it.
Oh, I loved it. What's the next one?
Yeah. Can't even process them. You're just going through them. So you
Good,
don't even remember
bad,
half the shows.
Good. Well, that's like
I think
when
everybody's been there.
we'll talk about shows. I'm pretty sure I saw that during that phase when I watched almost everything I've seen. So I kind of remember it. I remember liking it, but details are a little fuzzy.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
this show, like you either like it or you don't, because it's very slice of life. Um, but of note, the creator of Lucky Star is teaming up with are they? They're not teaming with KyoAni. I think they're teaming up with another studio to create a new series. And we covered it in last week's episode, I think. That piece of news, but if you did enjoy the sort of slice of life comedy of this show, then look out for that. I can't remember the name of it.
Neither can I.
Let's see. Next, obviously, we have Clannad and Clannad After Story. Obviously, we can't recommend it enough. I know Mark in particular was really touched by this series.
Yeah, that was a very, very touching series, man.
It'll
Like I
get you.
said, I watched it with like
And you
a
just start
best friend at the
punching
time,
people.
and yeah, it was like, oh man, I need a second to kind of process,
Yeah.
Can I
especially
hate
the
you?
after story.
Can I hate
Man,
you?
That was good.
After
good, though.
Story, it's not fair to have like children and emotions
Such
like
strong
paired
emotions,
together
man.
like that, and man, that show, one of the only shows that has ever evoked sort of sad emotions out of me.
It's rare when a show does that, absolutely.
Violet
But
Evergarden.
Violet Evergarden,
Violet
you know,
Evergarden
like
was
yeah,
another
you got like kind
Kyoani.
of teary-eyed, yeah, definitely. But yeah, something about just the Clanhead story is just it's really, really powerful, man.
That might be a good
It's-
topic
I
one
can't
day.
recommend
Shows we've watched that evoked strong emotions, and just like go through.
shows that I cried watching.
Yeah. I'm not crying. You're crying.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd have to like look at a list of shows and see like what other shows has evoked any sort of emotion out of me. It's gonna be kind of hard.
I can think of a
Um,
few. Casa with this laptop. Ice.
Oh,
Antarctica
A
girls.
place further than the
Oh
universe.
That
yes,
one.
I
yeah,
didn't-
that was a good show.
I
That
don't
was
know.
miserable.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't shed any tears during that.
That show got me
That
right
one
when
got
she
me.
opened up.
I
all
thought
those
I thought the
emails.
show was good, but it didn't evoke that.
When
sort
I
of
got to
emotion
the
out of
end,
me.
it messed me up. I was like, "Oh my god!" Pause. I
I
gotta
was like
leave.
really excited for. Well, I was.
He was real
but
excited
I was
for it.
like, I was excited like for Alec to watch that because we were both talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
that show and we're really really into it.
I was like
And,
one
yeah,
episode
I was-
behind you or something.
Yeah, like you need to watch the last episode, please. Watch
Please
it,
watch it.
so I'm not alone.
Yeah, so I don't feel
was
like
the-
such a weirdo.
That was the second to last episode.
It was.
It was. Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, second last episode.
The last episode was a kind of just everything wrapped up.
Settling.
Summing up, yeah.
Yeah. Moving on, we've got Sora o Miyagaru Shoujo no Hitomi ni Utsuru Sekai. What is this?
I don't
It's
know.
Munto Beyond the Walls of Time, a animated television series based on the OVAs that was a remake and sequel to the original Munto, I guess.
Have I seen this? I don't know.
I haven't seen it.
I
I've never
haven't
even
seen
heard
this.
of it.
The art looks super familiar, but I don't know if I've seen this.
2009. I don't even recognize it at all.
I may have seen it, but I just don't remember it because the art looks really familiar.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Looks like she's like hugging an ocarina.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I guess no one else has seen that. The next one is another pretty polarizing series, K-On! So like you either love it or you don't, and you either don't love it because it's moe, and this started a huge moe craze,
Yeah,
and
that's right.
you love it because you are fine with cute girls doing cute things, and that's exactly what this show embodies.
Yeah.
Um, this is another show where at the end of the second season was a very touching moment that
Yeah.
evokes emotions. But I don't know. Have you guys seen K-On! Or the second season?
Yeah. I've seen both.
I don't mind Moe. For some reason, I just don't like any of the girls in this show,
Really?
and that's the reason why I don't like it. I like what's her name? Azusa Nyan.
Sounds good.
She's the best character for me. Mugi's okay, but I don't like how she's drawn. I hate her eyebrows, but that's like the
You hate
meme.
the caterpillars.
Yeah,
thick
but like
eyebrows.
the twins I cannot stand. Ugh,
The
they're
twins?
they're like Ami and Mommy to me. It's just like they drive me crazy.
What twins?
Mommy
Uh,
and mommy.
or the two girls who look exactly the same. I call them the twins. The brown haired girls.
Yui and Ui,
Yeah,
her and her younger sister. Okay.
yeah. Um, they remind me of Ami and Mommy, and they're like super annoying to me.
I can see that. I can see
I don't know. I don't mind the show, but it's definitely not my favorite moe girls group doing cute things.
Or is
Yeah.
that Gochiusa? Is that your favorite? Or is it Kinira Mosaic?
No, no. It's I think it's actually what's it called? Smile Sweet Sadistic.
Oh, Blend S?
Blend S, yeah. That actually took it over for me because it's so ridiculous. But Kiro Mosaic, the big one, I think I like that one better than Rabbit Cafe. But
Des?
all three of those are super good.
Um, Mugi is apparently best according to the internet. Thank you, David. Um,
I agree. I think
you
I
like
have to agree to that one.
the rich girls?
I think Mookie's great, man. I loved K-On! I really like the characters. I think they're all it's cute, it's adorable, it's fun to watch.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Oh, it says the stream is offline.
It is.
Yep.
It shouldn't be because it says we're live.
No, it's good. It's good for me.
All right, it's off for me.
Yeah, it's
Let me refresh. it.
Fresh boy.
Um,
good. I
so
didn't skip, so
for me, I believe it was Mio. I was trying to
Yeah.
remember her name. Bass girl.
Mm-hmm.
Bass girl.
The
Bass
bass.
girl.
She's a
Slapping
fisher?
the bass.
Like-
She likes to fish.
Slap at the base.
Slap at the bass, man.
Slapping the
Slap
bass.
at the
man.
base, man.
K-on's got like the whole pilgrimage following too, don't they? There's like a fake. Is it a fake school or is it a real school?
It's a real school.
That's cool.
And so there's like you can see like the little characters posted and they're like here's our tea room or
Yeah.
light music room.
That's actually one of the locations where a lot of people put a lot of flowers and offered prayers for the fire.
Oh, I
I
bet.
saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next on the list,
Yeah.
we've got Nichi Joe.
Mm-hmm.
That was Alex's first KyoAni show, apparently.
It was.
And this show was hilarious, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
it's just
really fun.
the best way I can describe it is imagine Adult Swim as an anime.
That's how I describe it to
so
anybody
good.
who I recommend it to. I say like, if you like Adult Swim, you like that random like Robot Chicken, shows like that. Then if you like that, you will like this show. And
It's
most people are like, oh yeah, like
Yep.
I'm on it, and then they watch and they love it. So
It's a wild ride.
Has an
Yeah,
8.5
absolutely.
So many good moments.
on Mal.
yeah, it's good.
Look
It's
at
a
the
good one.
ratings.
Yeah.
This show, I mean, not like I'm gonna condone this for everybody, but like if you are in a state of the U.S. where it is legal to be under the influence of the of the Mary Jays.
Yeah.
Because
some-
it is like
some
Adult
flour.
Swim. This is the type of show to enjoy with the flour, as
That's
Alec
right.
put it.
Yep.
Not like we are
Devil's
not
lettuce.
we are not we are
Del
not
Diablo.
condoning that, but that's just an opinion.
Absolutely.
That's one of those. It's one of those shows that also gets like reposted
Gonna have
just
to try that.
every week or so.
I think
every
I've
month.
I'm gonna
seen
have to
that.
rewatch
that
it.
No, Alec,
I think
you've definitely
I've,
seen an episode of it like that.
But I'm
Because
gonna
you
have
thought
to-
my
think
cat.
yeah, I
You
know.
thought my cat
I
hissed at you.
remember. I remember. I'm gonna have to rewatch it though.
Going off what you said, Mark, I think I've seen the GIF of the goat getting suplexed like so many times. But that's actually the first time I saw that GIF. I'm like, I need to watch this show, and that's what made me watch it.
Same here. Same here.
It's so sick.
It was like,
you
I
got
have no idea what just happened, but I need to watch more of this.
you got that. You have like super slow mo, like flicking of erasers and like destroying like half of the planet to like. It's just like so random, but it's so good.
Yeah.
So extreme. It's great.
This show is great. If you haven't seen Nichijou and you do enjoy Adult Swim or you just enjoy random comedies in general, this is your show.
Oh, and you know what you had to mention about it before we move on? It has a banger OP.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh man, I could listen to that on repeat. It's so good.
Both openings.
Both of them done by the same dude, and
Yeah.
just like man, so sick.
Next is another group favorite, Hyoka. So this show, I believe this show is like one of the first shows that I was really going like, man, KyoAni is like really good at animation. Like they
Yeah.
really are good at like drawing stuff and it looking super beautiful.
I pulled
And
up
if you
the
look at this
goat
show, this
To
show
watch.
premiered in 2012, right? And it still stands up to like animation today. I feel like just watching a clip of it right now, and it's still like consistently good throughout, and it's just overall well done from an animation standpoint. Yeah.
Alec, you said you haven't seen Hyoka, or you have?
I have.
You have.
Yeah, I have. I liked that show. I thought it was really good. It was the I'm Curious Girl. That
Yep.
was because I remember that was also during my infancy, my binge time, and
His
I was like,
binge time.
I've seen a lot of action. I've seen slice of life. I've seen rom com. I've seen this. I've seen this. I want something new. And you're like, have you seen anything mystery? And I was like, no. And you're like, all right, well here's a couple. Because that's when I watched Hyoka. I watched the first one you listed. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Psycho
Because you
Pass.
asked. You asked.
Psychopaths and I was like, what's more of this? And you were like, well, there's like Bones and then Hyoka. And I watched Hyoka and I really liked it. It's a really good show.
Yeah, I believe I said you should watch Psychopaths, Ungo, this,
Ungo.
and I think at the time, Beautiful Bones was airing, and it was
Beautiful
like
Bones, yeah.
decent.
Yeah, Beautiful Bones and Ungo. I watched. all four.
Yeah, this is like one of the few mystery anime that's just overall really solid.
Mhm.
A
Yeah.
very underrepresented genre, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a lot of fun.
Moving up is a show that I know Drew hates.
I want to talk about it. Because I want to quantify my hate for it.
All right, what is this show, Drew? What show do you hate so much?
Love Chunibyo and Other Delusions.
This was
my girl,
my third pick.
my girl Rika.
love this show.
I like the first season, and everybody kind of hates on it because of the pacing, and the pacing is like totally abysmal. It's just like, Jesus, do something. But I think that like from an animation standpoint, really well done. Character design, great. The like crazy fight scenes that you get are absolutely over the top. And so I felt like they did a good job for the first season. The second season, however, absolutely ruins the show for me. It is just like there's an arc about napping and competitive napping. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, it took like it had a good formula, and then they added another girl who had Chunibyo, and she's like vying for the main
Yes.
character's love interest,
Yes.
and no, even more so than Dekamori, the pink-haired one from the second season.
Oh,
She's just like
her.
she's
Yeah.
so awful. She's just like because like I like Dekamori. Dekamori's funny. But he had I can't even remember her name,
I
but it's
don't
like and
remember
then
her name.
you pit her between Rika and like Rika's obviously way better. Like everyone's obviously rooting for that, and it's just a total disaster. So first season good. I can't recommend the first season enough. It is slow. Harem rom-com kind of style with like nothing really happening throughout the show until the very end, and even then nothing really happens, but it's a fun ride. Don't watch the second season, do yourself a favor.
And then of course you can forget the finger
Oh
twirls.
yeah,
The famous finger.
yeah,
That
yeah,
famous gift.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh man.
It's a good opening too, but actually first and second season both have a good OP, and I believe ED as well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't know.
think I've seen the second season.
I liked Chunibyo. I thought it was pretty enjoyable.
Yeah.
I do agree that the second season wasn't as good as the first, but I mean, I thought like overall it was like decent. It's not my
It's
least
watchable.
favorite. It's not my least favorite, but it's also not my favorite. It's probably just like, middle of the pack shows from
Yeah.
KyoAni. I don't know, but Mark or Alec.
Seen the first season, haven't seen the second.
I don't think I've seen
yeah,
the
it was
second,
Kinda, it was good. Like I liked the first season.
I liked
it was
the
fun.
first season.
Yeah.
I liked
Didn't
the eye
like,
patch girl.
stand out to me.
Yeah, Rika, yeah.
hmm
All the characters are pretty good. The napping senpai is kind of boring, but the rest
Oh,
of the
yeah.
characters are.
I thought it was a
And
fun
then,
watch.
good.
and then the guy shaves his head. Oh man. Oh, okay.
Jesus.
Moving on. So I don't know if you guys have seen Tamako Market.
Mm-mm.
I've seen clips of it. I haven't seen the full thing.
I don't
Okay,
know.
Tamako Market is a more slice of life romancy. Well, it was kind of slowly romancy. The actual TV series isn't like too romancy. It's very much just a slice of life. But the main girl, Tamako, and like her childhood friend, there is like some sort of like romance that you kind of hint at that they don't go into until the movie Tamako Love Story. And I actually really like the movie. The TV series was like decent, but I think that Tamako Love Story is like one of the really good KyoAni movies, and that we can go over later, the movies. But it's slice of life. You got more cute girls doing cute things, but it's more along the lines of there's a shopping district in this town, and they're trying to like keep it alive because of course there's a more poppin' all in one center shopping mall that's kind of taking over, but it's good.
It looks good. It looks interesting. I kind of want to watch it.
If you need a chill show to watch, then watch
Yeah.
Tamako Market and then watch the movie. I highly recommend the movie.
Hey, Mark, watch it.
Yeah, watch
Oh,
it,
yeah?
Mark. Come on, Mark.
Oh yeah.
Come on, Mark.
bud. Come on, bud. Might be the next Violet
Right.
Evergarden.
Right.
You never
It
know,
might.
bud.
The next on this list is Free Iwatobi Swim Club. The sort of it's
Call it
not
what it is,
it's
yaoi
not-
boys.
it's not cute girls doing cute things. It's I guess if you're into it, hot guys doing hot things.
It's
like
heartthrob
swimming.
guys
Swimming.
doing swimming.
Yeah,
It's shredded dudes doing sports.
swimming.
Doing swimming.
Doing swimming.
I
I mean,
have
I've
not
heard good
watched
things about
this.
it. So
I have not watched this. It's not my type of show. But
Yeah,
No,
dude.
I
I
didn't check
do
it out.
know it's popular, and there is a
Mhm.
movie that just came out or is coming out. And yeah, it seems to be very popular with the female audience, which it is honestly catered towards.
Yeah.
the,
It's got three. It's got
there's
3
an-
seasons. Yeah.
So there's a new movie that's also coming out that they were KyoAni was supposed to announce, but they put that on hold.
Yep.
Yep.
Next on the list, we've got Kyokai no Kanata, or Beyond the Boundary, and there's probably varying opinions on this show. So, what do you guys think of Kyokai no Kanata?
I liked it.
I liked it. Yeah,
I thought it was fun to
I
Yeah.
thought
watch.
it was a fun. It was cool. I mean, the animation style is really good. So like, the action scenes are really well drawn, and I liked it. I thought it was a cool show.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. This wasn't my favorite show. I still watched the whole thing. The ending song was great, and
yeah.
I just didn't like the main character girl.
Glasses,
I
I
get
could
that.
see that. Yeah.
Didn't like her.
glasses girl.
Yeah.
It's like everyone's trying to help her, and she's like just plays the victim, and it's kind
Yeah.
of like annoying.
It's grating, in my
yeah,
opinion.
Absolutely.
But I mean,
There's
she
other good characters.
had a-
Like the main boy character is good. The brother sister combo is super good. What I don't even know what she is. She's like a demon, but like a good demon, and then she becomes an idol and dances for an episode. She's a good character.
Oh yeah, that's still
Uh,
one of the best
Yeah.
idol dance scenes to date in an anime.
Oh,
She was,
Yeah.
was that on the roof?
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
fully animated. No CG. Sorry, Love Live and Idol Master. No CG for this shit.
Yeah.
It was like
Super
for that
good.
that monster or whatever. I can't remember.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the song
That
is
was
good
good.
too.
Song
So
is
it's
really
like
good.
everything about it is good. Yeah.
But
If,
yeah,
I want to go back and watch that.
Me too.
Just
now.
that
Now
scene.
that I'm thinking, just that, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I just went back to go watch the
I'll
goat
find
flip,
it.
so-
I'll link it in chat what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I
You
should have linked the goat
also
flip.
link the goat.
Yeah, link the
Yeah.
goat flip.
all right. Moving on from Kyokai no Kanata, we've got second season of Chunibyo, second season of Free, and then Drew's favorite, Amagi Brilliant Park.
Yeah.
So Drew, you want to elaborate a little bit on the show a little more? What you haven't covered?
I talked about pretty much everything I wanted to talk about it. It's just really good. It's like super enjoyable. All the characters are good. And for me, it's kind of like weird to say because the main character, he's like kind of a cocky asshole who thinks he knows everything. And I don't usually like that kind of character, but in this situation, it's like kind of good. But it's because the supporting cast around him is very good. The other thing I'll mention, I didn't mention them before, but like the fairies, the elemental goddesses or whatever, I forgot to mention them, but they're super sick.
They are great.
Um,
Yep.
But like every character in that show is really good. They're also random. Just the character design itself is just like top notch. There's not very many shows that can have that many characters of that kind of variety and have it like still be good. I think they do a really good job with that. But can't recommend that show enough. It's super entertaining.
Mark, what about you? Because I know you mentioned that you watched it.
I really like the show, and like I said, this is a show that you recommended to me. And yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Like Drew said, the characters are really, really enjoyable. They're all likable. And especially the fairies. They're probably my favorite of the side cast.
They're funny.
Yeah.
They're just so good. Yeah. I mean, I love this show. It was really good.
Yep, I agree. The show is pretty good.
I'll have to check it out.
You haven't
And it's
seen it,
only
Alec?
No, never seen it.
Alec, I thought you saw it because we talked about it when the opening. They always go like they do the clap,
Yeah.
and then we made a meme about it. I feel like you've seen this show. It's like
Maybe
that
he's
was
only
like
seen
the
the opening.
maybe that's what it is. They all clap, and every time they do that, you lost your mind. You thought it was like the funniest thing ever.
I'm pretty sure I recommended it to you a while back.
Maybe
During
I
your
have
binge
seen it
phase.
and I just don't remember.
Maybe it was during the binge time.
You just forgot it.
The
It just
binge
like
times.
in
I'm
his
gonna-
brain out. It's
I'm gonna go watch it again tonight, and I'm gonna be like,
and out.
yes or no, and then if I've seen it,
He'll be like 9 episodes in. And he's like, wait, I have seen.
I
this."
have seen this. I remember.
Oh man.
Alright.
This show is only 13 episodes. I don't know why I thought it was longer than
Yeah.
I
that.
could watch
yeah.
that in 2 days.
Oh, he's bringing back the binge time.
Or in the binge
Binge
time
time.
in 4 hours,
Yeah,
or
in
like
4
however
hours.
long it took you to.
How long does it take?
Because he skipped every opening and ending and
Yeah.
just freaking sped through
It's
it.
like I would watch it once in the first episode, and I was like, I want to get to the show. Give me to the show.
I'm almost positive we talked about them doing that clap because it's so fucking funny. It's just like so random, but it's like the best.
It's good.
I gotta
I
watch
Uh,
gotta
it.
watch it again.
I'll
I
make
got
sure.
it queued up.
Amagi Brilliant Park is another good series. I believe it's by the same creator of the Full Metal Panic um, series, if I'm not mistaken.
So
The main character looks like a character from Full Metal Panic.
you can watch the
Um,
whole series in 5 hours if
There you
you
go.
just straight watch 13 episodes.
If you join the binge
Challenge
time,
Because
accepted.
it's 23 it's 23 episodes. So
Yep.
I have a time off on Thursday, Friday. I'll watch it Thursday.
Confirmed. I just looked it up. It is by the same author of Full Metal Panic.
that's cool.
So yeah, highly recommended. And then the next on this list, Alec can talk about. It's his favorite series by KyoAni, Sound Euphonium.
It's very good. I like all the characters. There you go. I pretty much said everything I wanted
That's
to
it.
say too. No, I
Yeah,
think it's
That nothing.
I think
Just
I
good
think in this
characters.
one they do a really good job with the same kind of showing emotion that they do in a lot of their other more emotional shows. Is getting that kind of point across with just the facial expressions or the hand motions and the different actions of characters. I think they do a really good job in this show as well to kind of impart the emotions they're feeling to the audience. So, and I think that kind of just helps strike home, all the different feelings. But all the characters, I like all the characters. No character really like annoyed me. They all they flesh out the characters well enough for you to understand kind of their motivations and their reasons behind the shit that they're going through, and you're like, all right, I can see what you're talking about. You're not irritating or whatever. So I think that's why I like it so much.
Mm.
Mark, I
Yes.
know you've seen this. Drew, have you seen Sound Euphonium?
I have not. It's never really interested me. I don't really like the music animes. And because of that, I just never watched it. I can admire the animation quality though, because every kind of clip I see of it, it just like looks really well done. So
It's a beautiful show.
What do you think, Mark?
I like the show. It is a really well drawn show. It's a I don't know if it's like one of my favorites from KyoAni, but I do enjoy it like specifically for the music and because I can make a connection to it
relate.
because I can relate, yeah,
The
to
band
being
boy.
a female in band.
Yeah, he can relate to being a female in band and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Yuri relationships that can
Exactly.
ensue.
no way,
Yeah,
Mhm.
dude. Uh huh.
no way.
It's true,
Yeah,
true
it's
life.
true.
True life. Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's a good show. I really enjoy it. I want to watch the movie.
The movie
I
is
do too.
so
Pretty much.
good. Watch the movie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
man,
buy
I
the
wish
movie.
there were more screenings of it. Because it would be a good way to support KyoAni right now. But I guess when the Blu-ray comes out, I'll definitely buy it. I really like Sound Euphonium. As also being a band grill that experienced
Beautiful
the
band
beautiful
grill.
Yuri relationships
There's
in
three of us
in
band
high
girls.
school. um, there was like a lot that you could relate to. If you were in band in high school or whatever experience you had, because like when they were in the parade and everything and all that stuff, and then it's just like that exact feeling of like seeing another band there and seeing how they perform, and then you're just like, oh man,
The
like,
nerves, they do a really good job of like getting that across.
or
Like,
seeing
oh, did
people
I
that
get
you
the
knew
neck?
in middle school in another band in high school, like
Yeah.
that's just
They're also really good and
Yeah.
really talented. They're
It's
like,
just-
"Man,
like,
I
oh,
should practice
fuck."
more.
it's
Oh
pretty
God!
it's
Why are
pretty
they so
funny
much better than me?
how well they encapsulate the experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it. The music is great. The animation is top notch. It's really good. I have a GIF saved of it's the scene where Reina and Kumiko are like walking at night, and then like Reina kind of like does like a hair flip or whatever, and it's like super well animated, And I remember saving that like a GIF of that because it was like on the Reddit thread afterwards. It's like, man, that's like really good animation, and I just saved it. Hello, kitty.
She's gonna kill me.
But moving on. We've got Myriad Colors Phantom World. Not one of KyoAni's best series in my opinion, but that's
No.
not their fault. Because it was animated very well. It's just the story was not very good.
I was gonna say I haven't seen it, but just looking at the key art, so the characters look interesting. Like they look like
Yeah.
cool. They look cool.
The premise is really cool, and that's why I was really interested in watching it. I don't think I ever finished it, to be quite honest with you. I probably got through like half of it, and then the story just started kind of getting really out there, and it just kind of fell apart to me. And I was like, maybe not so much. But it was a fun watch though. Like, I liked it
I want to say
for the most part, I guess.
the main character guy is the same. I think it was it also Fukuyama Jun who voiced the main guy in Chunibyo, or am I wrong?
I don't know.
No, it's Hiroshima. Okay, so no, it's just another typical harem main character voice actor.
I linked the hair flip.
Oh, you make Link the hair flip.
Yeah,
Let
I
me see
linked
this.
the hair. I think it's.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
this
that's
is the
what you're
one.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Oh my gosh, that
Mhm.
it looks amazing. Uh, yeah, not much can be said. If you liked it, I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, as we are as well. But
Yeah, it's cool. Like it
It's-
looks cool, and I wanted to like it a lot.
it's
but I
animated
just- I
very
don't know,
well.
yeah, I couldn't get through it. Couldn't finish it. But
There's a theme here. It's almost like they animate all their shows really well.
Yeah,
Every-
almost,
do you think?
almost like
Even
they're
the
very
ones that
good.
aren't as good, they're like, we're just gonna animate it just as well.
Yeah,
I think you brought this up before. I think we were watching Violet Evergarden though, Rolando, but it's like their planning is what kind of differentiates them from other studios. It's like the ability to plan and actually budget time for these things, make for
Yes.
a quality product, and that's what you see in just about every single one of their shows.
there was an article I believe we had in a previous episode where, basically, like they interviewed people at KyoAni and they're like, no, it's not like a difference in budget, um, because like in their sense, yes, their animators get paid salary and like are paid very well, and that's not like a whole like they have a higher budget so they can do that. They just plan very well and make sure that the animators have time to put in good work, and that's what results in the higher quality. Because if you schedule it well, then your money will be used properly, rather than let's throw a lot of money everywhere and try and get it done as fast as possible last second.
And to a certain extent, the things they did for their employees, happier employees do better work. It's just
That is true.
It's just a fact. So,
Yep.
happy cows come from California.
Wow.
Wow. Happy cows make
I
happy
immediately
cheese.
thought of that commercial. But yeah, no, happy employees do put out a better product. So
That is correct.
it's just
Um,
a fact.
Sound Euphonium Season 2 was next. Then we've got Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. That was a very influential show. Done in a similar color palette to Nichijou. But this one was another like good comedy series from KyoAni.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
did
was an
not see it.
unexpected show. It was the plot of it is just so random that I kind of had like I don't know. I was like very not weirded out, but I was like hesitant. But like after seeing like the trailer for it, I was like, oh, this is gonna be so good, and it's good. It's a
Was
fun
it
watch.
super
It's
good?
good.
I like
I
I didn't watch it, so
How
I
have
like
you
it a
not
lot.
have you not
You
seen
didn't
it?
watch
They
it?
play it. They play it every time there's the Twitch.
Twitch watches.
Watch
I
it
know,
early.
and I always catch
Uh-huh.
it a few episodes in, and then I'm like, fuck, I'm not gonna watch it from episode 4.
This is like it's like one of the like most hyped up shows of 2017. This is like a big show for that year.
Yeah, I wanted to
Yeah.
watch
This
it,
w-
and then I just didn't.
This was the season before we started Anime on Draft.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
when that aired.
Winter
Yeah.
season.
Just before.
It was that and was that
Masamune.
Masamune? Yeah, yeah.
Masamune.
Fat Masamune.
Masamune.
And what's it called? Season 2, Konosuba.
Yeah, because that's how we started the podcast. We talked
Yeah.
about shows that we were watching in the previous season
Mm-hmm.
and what we
Yeah.
thought of them.
That's
And
our
I
roots.
Remember very highly bashing Masamune-kun's Revenge.
Yeah,
we weren't too kind to it.
But
It's a deserving.
I like Masamune.
You like
would,
Fat
of
Masamune?
course.
I like
likes
Fat
Fat
Masamune the
Masamune.
best.
The
Oh,
best.
No, but Dragon Maid's super good show. As random as it is, it's like you get fight scenes in it, and those are drawn exceptionally well.
Yeah.
Like you get a little bit of romance, a little bit of Yuri romance in there. The character design is top notch.
Really cute character design.
Super fun show. Just like totally lighthearted. And like it has like kind of somewhat continuous story, like where it's introducing characters, but you can go in each week and just kind of watch and be entertained.
Yep. It's like a relaxing show to watch too, because of how crazy it is. I mean, being in like the workforce, it's like, man, I really feel for this character. I want her to just
Solidarity.
relax with a beer.
Solidarity.
Yeah.
Yep.
correct. So, moving on, we have our best anime of 2018.
Mark's benchmark.
Mark's benchmark for all anime to come.
All anime ever.
Ever.
All anime. All the
Since
anime.
Not
Yeah.
even his favorite
Time.
KyoAni show.
Just
Yeah.
his favorite show.
Since the cavemen were drawing anime, yeah, this is
Wow, since the
benchmark.
cave-
Yeah, since the first hentai was drawn by cavemen.
God.
Soul.
was
Hentai.
It's art.
Violet
It's called
Evergarden.
hentai, and it's art. Thank
And,
you, Office. Thank you.
This show, we've talked about it in depth.
Yeah.
You can go to previous episodes of this podcast, but this show checks a lot of marks. It's got a good story.
Mark?
It's got checks some marks. It's got top tier quality animation, amazing music.
Absolutely.
It's not just the animation that's done well, but the actual cinematography in the animation.
The directing.
That's the thing that I was gonna say.
Is like-
it's like a movie. It
It's
just
like you're
feels
watching a movie.
Did
Like,
they
it's
have a
amazing.
bigger budget on this one since it was a Netflix?
It was a Netflix.
It was Netflix. They definitely were able to budget time and money into it because they did. It's not like they were constrained to like you have to release it this season on TV. It's like it was going to be on Netflix, and it did air, week to week on Netflix, but it wasn't like, you have to put all these time constraints on it. Because if you look at the time difference between Kobayashi's Dragon Maid and Violet Evergarden, there's a complete year, an exact year in between these two series. Like in between, if you look at the movie list, there was Liz and the Blue Bird that was in between, but like they had ample amount of time and budget to put into the show, and it shows. Like this is one of like their best series, like in my opinion.
I agree. This is a you're gonna laugh, but yeah, this is the show that I really enjoyed watching. Yeah, there's just like so much that goes into it. It has a lot of like emotions that just kind of just come out, man. It's a kind of dog is like no.
It's a very good show. It's
Yeah.
definitely
The,
watch it.
so
Highly
the-
recommend.
The specials are also out on Netflix right now too, and those are worth a watch. Those are really good.
Um, so there is always sad news to put with everything, but some of like the most emotional, well drawn scenes in a lot of KyoAni's works, including this show. Like if you remember the episode with the young girl, um, and Violet. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
the young girl that like wouldn't talk and like just kept following her around. And like um, there's the other, just a lot of the really well done scenes. The key animator for that is one of the ones that passed on in the fire.
Man.
It's just such a sad um, and big um, like loss that
Yeah.
like
Just so much talent. Yeah, it's terrible.
yeah. But
Can't even like I can't wrap my head around it. It's that's how crazy it is to me.
it is. Um, but like it is like the whole situation is unfortunate,
Hmm.
but at least we can still remember them by like the work they did and like
Yeah.
the all of the hard work they put into putting such a memorable and amazing product out. Like I'm glad that we at least still
Yeah,
have that around.
Those strong
absolutely, definitely.
moments.
Definitely something to applaud, and we can look back and see, it's always there. It's a part of history now, which is the good part about this, I guess.
Yep.
Hmm.
So now we have Free Dive to the Future, the third season of the Boys Swimming Club,
Haven't seen that
and
either.
have not seen that. Then we've got Surne.
Super good. I think I'm
Um,
the only one that saw it.
Archer Boys.
Alec
I
talks
didn't
about
finish
this a
it.
lot,
Hmm.
You didn't finish
and
it?
Mm-mm. But it was good. It was kind of slow for me, and I think that's probably why I dropped it. But it was like the characters are likable. Of course, it's drawn really well. But I think to me, it was a little bit slow.
I think it's
And I was
supposed to
watching a
be
lot of other
slow
things. Yeah, and that's true.
because
Purposely.
the sport or the martial arts, I forget what the bow martial art is called.
Kudo.
Yeah, that's it. Is a really slow, methodical, like, um, not philosophical, but meditative kind of
Mm.
like Tai Chi. You do everything really slowly, and so the anime follows the same kind of path. Because I was super interested after watching this. I was like, what does this look like in real life? And I started watching it, and it's this really slow, well thought out, methodical. You walk up, you do your thing, you hold
Mm.
it for a while, you go, and it follows that kind of thing. But I thought it was beautifully animated. I think they did a really good job of representing, the sport, the martial arts, um, and then kind of making it exciting at the same time and getting you to feel the joy that he gets from the thwack noise, which is the surune is that noise, I guess.
Mm.
That the
I'm gonna
makes.
I'm gonna have to watch it. You keep
It's
talking
cool.
about it.
I liked
Yeah.
it a lot.
I think I should probably give it another chance. 'Cause I think I was just watching a lot of other shows at the time, and I don't know what it was. I think it was just like maybe I just wanted to watch it all at once and just kind
Right.
of
I think
get
it
through
would
it.
be better all at once because in the parts
Yeah.
that do feel slow, you could just watch the next one. Where if you're watching it week to week, it's like, well, that was really slow. What really happened? Now I have to
Hmm.
wait a whole week. Fuck. So
Yeah. I'll
Well,
give that
I
another shot.
recommend it.
I'll give it a shot. That's definitely um,
Shot.
an interesting an interesting an interesting sport, and
Hmm.
I do know Mark, if you're caught up with Kaguya-sama, right? The manga.
Yeah.
You remember the part where she's talking about her archery?
Hmm.
Um, and how she's just like, they're like, oh, how are you so good at it? She's like,
Yeah.
and like, why did you stop doing it? She's like, oh, well, like I just like really found the right technique to like there was like the right way and it felt really good, and then that's like how she kept getting bullseyes, and she just replicated it perfectly and exactly every time.
Yep. Every single time. Yep.
But I mean, that's just what it is, you know. Sometimes you're just repeating the same exact formula, and you get
Coca-Cola.
success. You get Coca-Cola. That is correct. Um, so last on this list is a to be announced, to be determined series, and that's um, Niju Seiki Denki Mokuroku, which is going to be a light novel adaptation called 20th Century Electricity Catalog in English. So that will
Interesting.
be something to look forward to.
Something about Sears.
Uh, I know it's probably going to be a while before we, like, Kyoani gets back to their um, normal operations, but um, think of it as like this will probably be like their kind of we're back
Hmm.
type of series, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I look forward to it.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
definitely.
see them coming back with like a strong comeback. Like we're back and we're just fine. Um, we're gonna still give you the same thing we always have, despite someone's best efforts. So
And I wouldn't be surprised um, if they did need help, like a lot of other like big
That
studios
was
and other
mhm.
studios would probably lend a hand, just like as
Absolutely.
a
Yeah.
sort of solidarity effort,
Hmm.
because like this wasn't just like an attack on them. It's like the whole industry.
It's yeah.
is gonna feel it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So to briefly go through the films, we've got that Tenjo Bito um, to Akuto
That
Bito,
Moonto
that
one that we were talking
Bunto
about, yeah.
one. There was a movie. Um, then we've got the Haruhi movie that no one saw out of our group. There was the K-On! Movie. Uh, I I believe I saw that.
I think I've seen it too.
What about the Chunibyo movie? Did you guys see that?
No.
That first one's just a summary of the first season, and I
Okay.
see it, so it's a summary, and then the second one is actually a film, I believe. I think I saw it, but it was a long time ago.
I
Oh
don't think
no,
I
I
saw
probably
it.
I probably haven't seen it actually because it premiered in 2018. Maybe I was thinking of the recap movie or whatever.
The
Uh,
Rika.
I feel like I did see one of their movies, but it would have been a while ago. So
What about so I've seen Tamako Love Story and I highly recommend it. What about you guys? Obviously you haven't
Mm-mm.
seen it, but
Mm-mm.
have you seen the Kyokai no Kanata movies?
no.
Nope.
No, I have not.
One of them is a
Mm-mm.
summary, and then the other one is a continuation. I have not
Mm,
seen.
no.
Probably be interesting to see.
Yeah.
What
Be
about
interesting
High
to look at.
Speed Free Starting Days, a prequel to the movie the original light novel of Free, High
No.
Speed? No.
Mm. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
No.
Then we've got the first Sound Euphonium movie, which is a summary of the first season. Haven't seen it. Then we've
Haven't
got
seen it.
Koi no Katachi.
Seen it.
We've done a shot on this.
Yep.
I believe we have, yeah.
And this is a very highly touted movie, and like I won't doubt that like this movie was very well animated, but I did have issues with the adaptation. But that's just coming from someone who has read the source material and wasn't even happy with how the source material ended. But I
Yeah.
was really hoping that the movie um, would have done a little bit better job with the pacing. So it's like there is stuff that I felt was extraneous in the source material that they could have cut out um, to pace it a bit better. But like it was still like a good movie. It's just not. I don't think it's as highly. I don't think it's, in my opinion, as good as a lot of people
Journey.
put it out to be
Mm-hmm.
as like being this amazing movie. Um, I think it's a good movie.
Hmm.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
amazing.
No,
I
agree.
went and
mean,
read the source material too, and I liked it.
Did you?
I binged the
Ah.
source material. I think one of you recommended you should watch it after the movie,
Yeah,
and I was like, it's really good.
Mark
But
Mark
Yep.
recommended the manga to me, and then I read the whole
You
thing
binged
in
you
one
binged that
like
thing in like a day.
I like he recommended it to me, and then I started reading it, and then like the next day I was like, oh yeah, dude, I finished reading it. You're like, what? And I was like, yeah, I
And I
stayed up
like
till 5 in the morning reading.
yeah, we had that conversation at like 8 p.m. and you're like, "Oh yeah, I need to read this." And then the next day you're like, "Oh yeah, I finished it." I'm like,
what?
"Did you not sleep? What?
It's
How
really
did you
good.
finish it?"
It's really good. Yeah, I'm
It's
pretty
really
sure I
good.
did something very similar because I think one of you guys recommended it to me, and then later the next day I was like, it was really good. Wait, did you finish it? Yeah, I finished it. It was really good.
Yeah, he did exactly the same thing.
It's a touching story,
It
and
is.
it's
If you
yeah,
if
worth a
you've
watch.
seen the movie, I would highly recommend reading the source material because they do go way more in depth into the character development. And that's something I missed from the movie. And if you want to listen to the shot we did on it, we did one last year. It's just my main issue is how they handled Shoko, the main girl.
Mm.
She does not get the sort of character development that she deserves. And I get that it's a movie, there's, time constraints, but
Hmm.
like a lot of people say like, well, this is really the story of um what's his name? Main guy?
I forget.
Um this is
Excuse me, Ishida.
yeah, this is
Yeah.
really like just a story about Ishida's growth as a character. And like, it
Yeah.
makes sense. Like I can see it from that standpoint. But Shoko is also one of the main characters of this uh of this uh of this source, or I mean the story, and she plays an integral part
Yeah,
to Ishida's development, and I feel like she got slighted in the movie
in the
adaptation.
film. Yeah,
Hmm.
I could see that, and I agree to some extent. I think that there are parts that they kind of glossed over, um, and that's why I think like we can't recommend reading the source material enough because you're also able. I mean, besides the fact that we like binged it and just read through it like so quickly, it's not very long, but you're able to kind of pause on some of like the really powerful emotions in it. So you're able to kind of like digest like the things that are happening, and I don't know, I felt like I had a more of an attachment to the manga than the film. I mean, the film's great, like don't get us
Hmm.
wrong at all.
Yeah.
It's I think that the manga is definitely worth reading.
Hmm. If you like
Yeah.
the movie, you like the manga.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
In most cases.
you also may feel the same about how certain parts of the manga could have been cut out,
Yeah,
and they
sure.
could have made a more satisfying ending. But it was still good.
Yeah.
Just moving on to free movies, summaries of the second season focusing on two different characters,
Mm.
and then
Two whole
Lots of
Sound
free
movies.
movies.
They
Euphonium.
love free. People love free.
Sound Euphonium second movie summary of the second season. Free Take Your Marks, and
Other
that's a
free.
new content movie. None
It's a
of us have seen it.
continuation of free!
Hmm.
And
Exclamation.
then
That-
here's the movie that Drew thought that he saw, the Chunibyo movie.
No. So I was looking at the OVA, and it's actually the OVA that I've seen, not the movie.
no.
Maybe we should watch Love Chunibyo and Other Delusions Take on Me and do a shot on that or talk about it on the podcast.
Take
We should do
on
that.
me.
And then there's Liz and the Blue Bird. I haven't seen this movie. I
I haven't
remember we
either.
talked
I
about it
haven't
a
seen
lot
it.
when the movie aired in the US, but
Hmm.
I want to see it.
Me too. I really want to
Mhm.
see it. It looks really, really good.
It looks cool.
Hmm.
And then there's a Sound Euphonium Oaths finale. That is what Alex saw at Anime Expo.
Is it? It had a
Yes.
different name. It was Our Promise, a brand new day at Anime Expo.
Well, maybe it's a different name for the
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm gonna Google it now. I thought it was.
because this is the movie that came out in April.
Yeah. I mean that's sounds like the right time. It's just maybe they named it different. I don't know, but yeah, that's the one I watched. The third movie. So
Yeah, it says
whatever it's
our
called.
It's funny because it says anime film Sound Euphonium the movie Our Promise a Brand New Day released April
Mm-hmm.
19th, and then you look at this Oath's finale April 19th.
Okay,
What is the actual name of this
I
movie?
have no idea. Yeah, because that's what they called it. Maybe it just depends on like where it was released, or maybe it's a
Hold
weird
on.
translation thing.
An animated theatrical film titled The Liz and the Blue Bird premiered in 2018, focusing on two characters from Sound Euphonium. Another film adaptation, Sound Euphonium, the movie Our Promise a Brand New Day, premiered in April 2019 in Japan. So I believe that is this Oath's Oath's finale. I don't know
Okay.
why it's Oath's Promise, Oath's finale. You know,
Hmm.
there's two oaths in there.
Yeah.
That's the
That's
connection. Um, then we've got third summary season of Free, and then there's the spin-off Violet Evergarden movie that is coming out on September,
Hmm.
and then another Violet Evergarden movie that's supposed to be coming out to be determined, as well as another Free movie that
Hasn't been announced
has
yet.
not been announced yet.
Right.
So that's it. There's
mm-hmm.
obviously a lot,
Uh-huh.
but
Yeah.
I think we've kind of shown that like KyoAni's body of work is just really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. 100%.
Yep.
It's just a lot of good stuff.
Yeah. It's incredible just how many of these shows that we have like such an attachment to. I mean, the Planet came out 11 years ago, and that's still a show that I just fondly remember watching.
When I think, other than like Free and that one weird Munto anime, I think all of us have a connection to at least one of the shows. And like, not to bash Free or anything, it's just not a genre that dudes are probably interested in for the most part.
Hey,
I
don't judge. Maybe there are dudes that are into free.
straight dudes.
It's
Hey,
I
maybe
mean, it
there are
looks
straight dudes
interesting.
that are
I'm not
into
gonna
it.
It's-
lie, like,
you want to look like them. You want to be that shredded and be able to swim that fast.
I would love to.
He just loves looking at toned abs.
Mm,
But the
You
anime
got me.
is tailored towards the female audience.
It definitely is.
yeah.
But it's popular. I mean, it's popular here in the West too, which is also speaking to the value of the work, or the amount of work that it has.
Yep.
All
Well,
right.
I think that wraps this up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We don't really have announcements today. We did those at the start.
We did record a Rising of the
Mm.
Shield Hero shot.
Mm-hmm.
That we happened to record that when the fire was happening, and so we were like, please look out for any news of it at the start. So that's probably gonna come out before this episode, but like obviously if you're with us tonight, it's gonna be weird listening to that and be like, look out for what's going on because we recorded it the day
Right.
of when it was happening,
Yeah,
and
as the news broke out.
Yeah.
unfortunately,
A couple hours, I think.
you know, like as time progressed, like the horrible news that happened that came out from it like came to light.
Hmm.
But yeah, I hope that that KyoAni is able to rebound from this, and that um, the families of the victims have a swift recovery, both physically and emotionally.
Hmm.
And I hope
you-
that our episode here today can rekindle some of the attachments and feelings you felt for the shows that they've put out and the, huge, repertoire of shows that we've been talking about. And maybe you go back and watch some of the episodes or shows you've seen and you'd see the goat flip and you laugh and just get the same, enjoyment out of it that you did before and remember all the good things that came.
and
Yeah.
hope that another Nichijou season comes.
Nichijou season 2. How many years later would that be if we got Nichijou? Let's see. Nichijou was 2011. All right, yeah, no, it's possible.
Yeah.
It's only like 8 years
10th
now.
anniversary of Nichijou.
Yeah,
10th
there
anniversary.
you
There you
go.
go.
Season 2.
I would love it.
What about Mark, Drew? Do you have any you know, words? Do you have words?
Do you have words?
I have
I
some
mean,
Do you,
I have the capacity
do you
of
have the capacity for
creating words. No, you guys kind of hit the nail on the head. It's, we send our thoughts over to everyone affected, and looking forward to when the day that they come back. And like we all said, it's going to be stronger, and there's going to be the help of everybody basically sending them our thoughts and all that stuff towards them. So they're going to come back and rebound, and it's going to be good. Looking forward to it for sure.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, you guys said it really. I think talking about all these shows makes me want to watch, the ones that I haven't, and
Yeah.
revisit some of the ones that we talked about. Because they're all good shows, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Let's all watch. Let's all
I
binge
feel the same.
free.
If
Together.
you want to.
Together in one room.
I think maybe we should give it a chance. I don't know.
I don't know. It might be
Yeah,
really
somebody-
good.
it
I'd
might be
down.
good.
Somebody in chat has watched it and would recommend it. then
Alec likes
maybe.
sports anime, so
I
it
love sports
definitely
anime.
is sports anime. So
Yeah, that is correct.
That's true. Maybe I'll give it a shot. We'll see
yeah.
Well,
after Clinad.
so if you do want to help the sort of relief funding for this incident, the best way is to go to KyoAni's online shop and purchase artwork. It's around 200 yen ish per piece of art that you purchase from them, and there's a guide that you can find on Reddit and stuff that
Yeah,
shows
I
you
actually
how to buy it.
tweeted it. It's on our Twitter page as well. There's a guide on that.
So look at Mark's tweet on our Twitter and find kind of the guide that shows you how to purchase any sort of artwork. All of these proceeds will go directly to KyoAni. They have suspended sales from their store of things that are upcoming, and that all has been suspended. So anything that has been already purchased will still be delivered out, but they're kind of in a state of as far as physical good sales, they're in just a holding pattern because there's a lot going on. But there is Sentai Filmworks in the West here does have a GoFundMe. They partnered with GoFundMe, and so there's not a specific date set for when the money needs to go through, and they're both GoFundMe and Sentai Filmworks is going to try and work with KyoAni to figure out how to get this huge fundraiser that they put together.
Yeah, it's up to 1.3 million, I think.
Yeah, $1.3 million has been raised. I donated to it. I plan on buying artwork from KyoAni's store as
Same.
more support. But if you feel so inclined, I know a lot of people are saying don't do support this one because there's no guarantee that KyoAni will get the money. I don't think that GoFundMe and Sentai Filmworks is going to steal this money. That would be very bad. But I hope that we're able to get that money over to KyoAni, and so that they can use it to help the families of
At least provide
yeah.
some sort of relief to
Yep.
family, studios, everybody.
Yes. So if you feel inclined, we retweeted that one as well, and yeah, just show your support. I know Crunchyroll is taking messages of support to send over to them, and there's just a lot of efforts being put out. It's really nice to see the anime community pull
The
together
solidarity.
Yeah, definitely.
for this.
Cool.
It's an unfortunate situation, but it's really nice to see a community that likes to bicker with each other so much come together over something like this. But yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Do you guys have anything last to add?
No.
No.
Thanks for
All right.
watching. or
Watch these
listening.
shows if you haven't.
Well, if you enjoyed this episode, please consider um, continuing to be our patrons by following us on twitch.tv/animeondraft and turn on those notifications because that is how you will be notified when we go live. It is normally every Sunday, usually 6:30 to 8:30, depends on when we kind of get everything together and whether we have a technical difficulty like we did earlier today.
And we'll tweet
Um,
if we're not streaming.
Yes, if we're not streaming, Alec is correct. We will tweet about it. So just look Sundays. That's our current schedule. Um, where you'll find those tweets at Anime on Draft, heralded by the Markman himself, not the Markman, the actual, uh, not the Markman Mad Catz guy, but Mark over here, wherever he is
Above
in
you.
relation to me, right there.
There you go.
And our Instagram is Anime on Draft Podcast. All of us contribute to that. And then our WordPress is animeondraft.wordpress.com. It has links to our social media and our podcast episodes from like episode 70, I guess.
70
Um,
prior.
Look out
The early
for
days.
our Anime Expo video. We're trying to get that out. Look out for the Shield Hero shot. In terms of other stuff, please follow us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And then we're going to try and get on Google Podcasts. And if you could please give us a rating. If you like our podcast, give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. And, write a review. Let everyone know exactly why you like us. If you don't like us, I mean, you can write a review for that as well. But it does give us more visibility on the Apple Podcasts platform.
Mm-hmm.
But
Definitely.
And it makes
Without-
us happy to see.
it does.
It makes us feel warm inside.
Yeah.
The five of you that gave us those 5-star ratings, thank you.
Thanks.
So
You're awesome.
you guys are awesome.
We're glad
and
you like
gals.
we're glad you like our content.
We are very glad. But without further ado, one last announcement, I guess, is I won't be here for the next 3 episodes.
He's leaving us.
These guys will be handling the podcast while
To
I'm
the
gone.
best of our ability.
To the best. I'll let them know how to export the audio and put it on SoundCloud. But
Eh,
yeah,
We'll miss you, Dad.
yeah,
Yeah, we will.
I'll be
Hi,
in
Dad.
You're gonna
Europe.
have fun time.
Yeah, fun.
I'll have a
times.
fun time in Europe.
Yeah.
I'll bring some business cards. So
Yeah.
if I happen to meet anybody that listens to our podcast, or
If you find
I
yourself
can
in a pub,
spread the word. Yeah.
just leave them.
Well, who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Maybe people that enjoy anime over there in London will enjoy our podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that has been tonight's episode, and we will see you later.
Bye.
Yeah. See you guys.
Bye.